My child, listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal is not meant for everyone. You must understand that this message was placed in your path at the exact moment your spirit became ready for it. You may think you just tapped the screen by accident or opened this at a random time, but nothing about this moment is accidental. The timing, the pull you felt, the sudden urge you could not explain, everything is connected to what you are about to hear. The universe does not make mistakes with timing. Your arrival here is the result of a spiritual alignment that has been in motion for quite some time. I need you to quiet your mind and open your heart, because we are about to discuss a woman, someone who knows you, someone who has walked close enough to your life to learn your habits, your routines, and the way you think. This is not a story about a stranger, not an outsider, not a distant voice fading in a crowd. This is about someone who once stood close enough to call herself trustworthy, close enough for you to never doubt her intentions, and close enough for you to believe she would never harm you. You allowed her into your personal space. You shared your thoughts with her, and you believed the image she presented was real. But my child, darkness does not always come wearing a mask. Sometimes it smiles, sometimes it pretends to care, sometimes it hides behind gentle words and familiar faces, masking its true intent with a facade of friendship. Right now, at this very moment, this woman is sitting somewhere alone, clutching a report that has completely shattered her world. The atmosphere around her is heavy with fear and realization. Her fingers are trembling so violently she can barely keep the pages still. She is looking at information that has stripped away her confidence and replaced it with a terror she never thought she would face. Her breath is unsteady, uneven, breaking in her chest like fragile glass. She reads the words again and again, hoping the letters will change, hoping the diagnosis will rearrange itself into something less terrifying, less final. She is desperate for a different outcome, bargaining with reality. But the paper refuses to lie. The truth remains in black and white, cold and unforgiving, staring back at her with a certainty she cannot escape. She is confronting a reality that no amount of money, influence, or manipulation can change. Her body is failing, my child, but you must understand the root of this failure. It is not because nature randomly chose this path for her, nor is it because her time simply arrived. This is not happening because of something genetic or unavoidable. No, her body is collapsing under the weight of a seed she planted with her own hands. These are the same hands that once reached toward your downfall, hands you thought were there to hold you up, but were actually working to pull you down. She is in the advanced stage of a condition that did not appear overnight. It did not grow in a month. It has been forming inside her for exactly the amount of time since she tried to harm you. She did not expect it. She never imagined that the very trap she crafted for you would become the cage she now sits inside. She believed she was the hunter, not realizing she was becoming the prey of her own wicked intentions. She never thought the energy she pushed toward you would circle back and cling to her like a shadow she cannot outrun. She thought she could send destruction into the world and remain untouched by it. But spiritual laws do not work that way. I want you to pause for a moment and let this truth settle in your spirit. If you feel the weight of these words, if you sense that this message was sent specifically for you, I ask you to leave a comment below. Type "I am listening" or "I receive this revelation" to signal that you are awake and aware. By engaging, you help this message reach others who may be walking blindly beside hidden enemies. Your comment is a declaration that you are ready to see the truth, no matter how difficult it may be. 3 years, my child. 3 long years. That is how long this silent destruction has been growing inside her. Every moment she walked around thinking she had succeeded, something inside her was quietly shifting, forming, and developing into the very thing she is facing today. While she was smiling at you, this thing was taking root. While she was plotting against you, this condition was establishing itself. She spent 3 years believing she had gotten away with it, living in a false sense of security, unaware that her own body was keeping score. But before you ask who she is or what she did, you must understand the weight of her intentions. She did not act out of a moment of anger, nor did she make a mistake in the heat of temporary emotion. Her actions were planned, calculated, and quietly designed like a puzzle where only she understood the pieces. She spent time crafting this. She invested energy into your destruction. The envy she held toward you was not mild. It was deep, hidden behind carefully crafted smiles. She mastered the art of deception, presenting one face to you while harboring a completely different reality in her heart. While she complimented you in public, she judged you privately. While she acted supportive, she secretly hoped you would lose everything you were building. Every time you succeeded, she felt a pang of bitterness. Every blessing you received felt like a thorn she could not ignore. She watched you rise, and instead of feeling inspired, she felt diminished. As your life moved upward, her bitterness sank deeper, rooting itself in her spirit. She allowed this darkness to fester, refusing to confront her own insecurities and instead choosing to project them onto you. Instead of healing her jealousy, she fed it. Instead of releasing her resentment, she nurtured it. She treated her hatred like a prized possession, guarding it and allowing it to grow until it consumed her. She began observing you, not with admiration, but with the intention of finding an opening. She became a student of your life, but for all the wrong reasons. She studied the way you moved through your day, noticed the scents you wore, the routines you followed, and the things you touched most often. She was searching for a vulnerability, a way to insert her poison into your existence. She memorized the smallest habits, believing she was simply being attentive, not realizing that heaven was recording every thought, every intention, and every secret plan forming behind her eyes. She thought she was the only one watching, but she was being watched by a power far greater than she could comprehend. Her deception was not loud, messy, or reckless. It was quiet, my child, too quiet. It was the kind of silence that makes darkness appear innocent. She believed subtle plans were safer, and that silent schemes left no trace. She convinced herself that hidden steps guaranteed success. But nothing is hidden from divine sight. What she prepared for you was not something small. It was not a rumor. It was not gossip. It was not a lie spread to tear down your reputation. No, her plan was crafted with the goal of ending something vital in your life. She wanted to create a permanent stop to your progress. She believed she had found the perfect method, one where the cause could not be traced back to her. She wanted a method that would leave her beyond suspicion, a method where you would slowly break while she watched from a distance, pretending to be shocked, pretending to wonder what was happening to you. She wanted to play the role of the concerned friend, while secretly being the architect of your pain. She did not realize that every thought she whispered in the dark was echoing in a realm she could not see. She did not know that each step she took was being counted, each intention weighed, and each action recorded. With every move she made against you, she was writing her own judgment. Heaven watched her make the decision. Heaven watched her choose the path of destruction. Heaven watched her prepare something deadly, believing she had the upper hand. And then, my child, the turning point came. The moment she thought she had won was actually the moment she lost everything. We are just beginning to uncover the truth of what happened. Stay with me, for the next part reveals exactly how her plan backfired and why you are still standing. She carried out her plan, executing what she believed was the perfect moment with a precision that would have chilled you to the bone if you had witnessed it. She believed this would be the day she finally gained control, the day she would see you weaken while she pretended to feel sympathy for your sudden misfortune. She walked into that situation thinking she was clever, thinking she was unstoppable, and believing she was smarter than the consequences that inevitably follow wicked actions. She convinced herself that because she had planned everything in silence, the result would also be silence, and she would walk away with clean hands and a secret victory. She sat there waiting for signs of your destruction, clearing her throat, waiting to see the fruit of her dark labor, completely unaware that the atmosphere in the room had already shifted against her. But my child, what she created for you never touched you. It did not graze your skin, it did not enter your spirit, and it did not disrupt your destiny. This was not because she made a clumsy mistake or faltered in her steps, but because of divine interference she never knew was surrounding you. You were under protection, long before her plan even began to form, shielded by a covering she could not see and therefore could not account for. She was trying to fight a physical battle against a spiritual fortress. She did not realize that the moment she moved against you, she was moving against heaven itself. What she purchased, what she prepared, what she attempted to transfer into your life, all of it reversed the moment she tried to carry it out. There is a spiritual law she ignored. When you dig a pit for the righteous, you often fall into it yourself. She did not feel the shift when it happened. She did not sense the danger looming over her own head. She did not see how the very thing she intended for you cycled back and clung to her instead, attaching itself to her life like a parasite. It was subtle, invisible to the naked eye, yet powerfully present in the spiritual realm. It happened through tiny particles she never noticed. A mistake so small she did not even realize it had occurred. It was a touch she thought was harmless, a moment she dismissed as nothing, but in reality, it was everything. That brief instant, that split second when she handled the weapon meant for you, sealed her fate without her even knowing it. She wiped her hands and moved on, thinking she was safe, thinking she was the victor. But she had just signed a contract with destruction that she could not cancel. For 3 years, my child, 3 years, what she meant for your destruction has been tearing her apart from the inside. It has been a slow, methodical unraveling. Inch by inch, cell by cell, it has been quietly taking over her body and her spirit until the day came when it could no longer remain hidden. She walked through those years believing she had escaped judgment, thinking that because lightning did not strike immediately, it would never strike at all. But judgment does not always come with thunder. Sometimes it comes with a slow, creeping silence that consumes you from within. That day is today. The silence has ended, and the noise of her consequences is deafening. She is losing strength faster than she can accept, watching her vitality drain away like water through a sieve. The weight of her actions has finally returned to her doorstep, demanding payment for the debt she incurred 3 years ago. Now, as she holds that report in her trembling hands, the truth crashes over her like a wave she cannot swim through, pulling her under the tide of her own making. Her eyes are swollen from crying, red with the exhaustion of regret that has arrived too late. Her chest tightens with a guilt she never expected to feel, not necessarily guilt for hurting you, but the crushing realization that she destroyed herself in the process. For the first time, she understands what she did. For the first time, the darkness she played with has shown its true face, and it is not the friend she thought it was. She is realizing that the enemy she partnered with has no loyalty, and the trap she set has snapped shut on her own ankle. You may wonder why she is suffering now, why this timeline has unfolded in this specific way. You may wonder what it means for you, and why you were kept in the dark about her plot for so long. My child, listen closely. Her suffering is not for your entertainment. Do not look upon it with glee, but with understanding. It is a sign, a warning, a revelation, and most importantly, a reminder of how protected you truly are. It is visible proof that you do not need to fight your own battles, because there is a force that fights them for you. Everything she crafted was blocked. Every scheme was dismantled before it could mature. Everything she wished upon you was intercepted by your spiritual guard before it could even reach your shadow. You were never in danger, not for a moment, not even for a second. Your life is guarded in ways you cannot see, protected in ways you cannot imagine, surrounded by forces you may not always feel, but that are always present, standing watch while you sleep and while you wake. We now go deeper into the truth. Take a breath, because what comes next will open your eyes in a way you have never experienced before. The truth is not gentle. It does not whisper or ask for permission to be heard. It arrives like a sudden wind, stripping away the illusions you have been holding on to. And once it touches you, nothing remains the same. Your perspective shifts permanently. That is what is about to happen as we look at the history of this woman, the one clutching her report, the one whose tears will not stop, the one who is slowly realizing the weight of her own choices. She was not always this way. There was a time when her heart still held softness, a time before bitterness took root. There was a time when she admired you, She looked at your life with genuine respect. When she looked at you, she saw something in your spirit she wished existed in herself, a light she craved but did not know how to produce. But admiration becomes dangerous when it is not grounded in self-love. Admiration turned into comparison, and she began measuring her worth against yours. Comparison turned into envy, a burning desire to possess what you had. Envy turned into resentment, a deep anger that you carried what she lacked. And resentment grew into something darker, something malicious that sought to level the playing field by destroying the competition. It became something no human eye could see, yet heaven saw every step of her descent. She never told anyone how she felt. She suffered in silence and plotted in silence. She wore kindness like a mask, a disguise so convincing that even you, with your intuition, believed it. She laughed with you, spoke gently, acted supportive, and pretended to care, all while a storm formed inside her, waiting for the perfect moment to break. At first she did not want your downfall. What she truly craved was your life, your favor, and your peace. She wanted the strength she saw in you, and the grace that seemed to rest so effortlessly on your shoulders. She watched doors open for you without force, and it confused her more deeply than she could admit. She could not understand why someone like you, someone she secretly underestimated and considered ordinary, would walk in the kind of protection and destiny most people never experience. That is where the root of this tragedy began, not with hatred, but with a distorted desire. She wanted what belonged to you. The moment that desire twisted into entitlement, she crossed a spiritual line her soul was not prepared to pay for. You see, the people who envy you most are rarely the ones far away. They are the ones close enough to see the details of your life. Outsiders may hear about your blessings, but insiders witness them, and that proximity can be dangerous. The closer someone stands to your life, the easier it is for jealousy to take root if their heart is not pure. This woman stood close, much closer than she should have, and she watched you with unsettling precision. She studied you not to learn from you, but to identify your vulnerabilities. She noticed your routines not out of curiosity, but out of calculation. She learned your patterns not to support you, but to use them against you. She knew the intricate details of your mornings, the way you prepared your belongings, the small items you loved, and the habits you never changed. She gathered all of this information over years of friendship and turned it into a weapon. But before she made the final decision to harm you, something very specific pushed her over the edge. Something happened exactly 3 years ago, an event she never truly moved past, even though she pretended she had. It was a moment when you rose unexpectedly, a moment when your name was spoken in a room she believed belonged to her. A blessing came to you that she felt she deserved. You received a breakthrough she believed should have been hers. Instead of celebrating you, instead of applauding, instead of allowing gratitude to shape her heart, jealousy consumed her completely. She felt humiliated that life honored you before it honored her. She felt invisible the moment you were recognized. She felt small when you were lifted up, and the sting of comparison became unbearable. Instead of healing, she allowed bitterness to grow until it consumed everything she felt toward you. The plan did not begin overnight. It started slowly, like a seed planted in the shadows of her thoughts. She told herself lies to justify it, convincing herself that you did not deserve what you had. She whispered that you were merely lucky, not chosen. She constructed entire narratives in her mind to make her actions seem reasonable. She told herself that if people truly knew you, they would not treat you the way they did. But darkness never remains small once it is fed. She made her final decision on a day when she felt especially overlooked. She felt threatened by your presence and overshadowed by your light, so she resolved to dim it herself. Take a moment and reflect on the people in your circle. If you have ever sensed an unusual tension from someone close to you, trust that instinct. Your discernment is part of your protection. Awareness is the first line of defense. Build a circle that refuses to ignore red flags or dismiss intuition. She wanted to control the timing of your downfall, She wanted it to appear natural, as if life were gradually draining you, not as if someone had carefully orchestrated it. So she did something that changed everything. She obtained something harmful, something that should never have come into contact with human skin. She believed it was the perfect weapon because it was silent, invisible, and nearly impossible to detect. She did not want loud destruction. She wanted quiet damage, the kind that unfolds slowly and leaves experts confused. In her arrogance, she committed the act that sealed her fate. She attempted to introduce that substance into something personal of yours, something you used every day and kept close to your body without a second thought. She believed this would be her victory. She believed she had outmaneuvered divine protection and that heaven was not watching. But protection surrounds you like a wall she could never penetrate and did not even know existed. The moment she attempted to carry out her plan, the spiritual realm responded. A shield you were unaware of activated without a sound. In that exact moment, as she prepared to harm you, a small trace of what she handled came into contact with her own skin. She did not notice. She felt nothing. She brushed it off as insignificant. She never imagined that such a small mistake would echo so powerfully into her future. That single moment marked the beginning of her unraveling. At first she felt fine. Weeks passed, then months. She walked confidently, believing she had succeeded, believing she had escaped accountability for something unforgivable. But unseen by her, the consequence had already taken root within her body. It moved quietly, developing slowly, advancing year by year until it reached the stage she now faces. Now 3 years later, she stands before reality she never anticipated. Her life is slipping away, not because of fate or bad luck, but because of her own actions. That is why she trembles. That is why she appears crushed beneath the weight of her choices. Her heart is gripped by a fear she cannot fully articulate. Deep down, she knows the truth. Even if she has never spoken it aloud, she knows this is not random. She knows this is not natural. She understands that this is the shadow of her own actions returning to her. While she confronts the harvest of what she planted, you must recognize that you were protected from it all. Every part of her plan, every attempt, every intention formed against you failed. Nothing she prepared ever entered your life because you were surrounded by a shield she could not break. Now that you understand her condition, you must also understand what this means for you. Heaven does not reveal something like this without purpose. You are stepping into a season where the truth about many people will be exposed. You will finally understand why certain relationships collapsed, why certain doors closed in your face, and why people you trusted suddenly pulled away. You will see clearly why your spirit felt uneasy in certain places, even when you could not explain it. What was hidden is coming into the light, not to frighten you, but to free you. For the last 3 years, something unseen has trailed behind you, resisting your progress and attempting to slow your rise. Her actions released a shadow over your path, a cloud formed from intention, jealousy, and bitterness. Although the weapon she formed never touched your body, her hatred attempted to cling to your atmosphere. You felt it in subtle but unsettling ways. Days when your energy drained without explanation. Nights when tears fell, and you did not know why. Moments when a heaviness pressed against your chest for no visible reason. These were not random emotions, they were signs of spiritual pressure attempting to reach you. Yet even then you were covered. Even when you did not feel safe, you were safe. Even when life forced you to your knees, heaven stood behind you like an undefeated army. You survived because you were chosen. You survived because protection was assigned to your life long before you ever asked for it. Think about those mornings when you woke, suddenly, as if someone had called your name, but no one was there. That was not fear. That was not coincidence. That was divine protection guarding you, covering you, and pulling you back from harm that tried to enter your dreams. Now that the weight of her plan has been lifted, your blessings will not simply resume. They will multiply. The spiritual delay that restrained your progress is broken. The dark cloud that followed you has dissolved. The hidden interference that slowed your momentum is gone. Pay attention. The timing of your life is shifting. What was stalled will begin to move. What was blocked will open. Where destruction was intended, restoration is being released. Where downfall was planned, breakthrough is being established. In the coming weeks, you will experience divine compensation. What was delayed will accelerate. What was withheld will be released. You endured warfare that should have broken you, and because you stood firm, you will now be rewarded openly. What was meant to destroy you will become the reason you rise. What was meant to break you will become the force that elevates you. Watch for 3 clear signs that your new season has begun. First, an unexplainable peace will settle over you. You will wake up feeling lighter. Your thoughts will quiet. Your spirit will feel steady and calm. Second, a door will open without struggle. Something you fought hard to accomplish will suddenly align with little resistance. Third, a new person will enter your life. Someone with integrity and sincere intentions will step in to play a meaningful role in your next chapter. You are entering a season where God Himself is handling what concerns you. You do not have to fight every battle or carry every burden. He is working while you rest and defending you while you sleep. Your tears were not wasted. Your pain was not overlooked. Your endurance has been seen. You survived what was designed to end you, and now you will flourish in ways you never imagined. If this message confirms what you have been sensing in your spirit, do not ignore this moment. Subscribe to this channel and connect with a community committed to truth and spiritual clarity. Stay aligned so you do not miss what is meant for your journey. Step forward into this season of restoration with confidence. Declare that your restoration is here and that the shift has begun. You are protected, you are chosen, and you are rising.